I am, dude. Oh! Damn it. Today we're playing CarX Drifting. Let's just take the pro car out and get into it. One of the things I found while it's loading up is you start out with like a class 1 car. Originally I thought that the cars got more powerful when you went up in classes, and then I was under the understanding that it was just you got more points. So basically class 2 you get 2 times the points, class 3 you get 3 times the points. They do actually get a little bit more powerful though as you go up in tiers. This car is a class 3. It didn't take me that long to unlock, like get enough money and get high enough to get a class 3. I haven't tried the class 4 or 5 yet, but this thing's a monster. Once you get the car set up and you get good power in them, have steering wheel assist on. I turned it off and I was struggling so hard. Just so you guys know, as a side note, I don't ever do any research or watch other videos on these games. I like going in fresh and not having any outside influence, because there's obviously like professional gamers and stuff that would smash me on this. But I want to show you guys, what my opinion is as a drifter in, in real life, or I shouldn't say that, but, a pro drifter with these cars in real life, kind of what I think of the video game, and if it's applicable or not. Tuning wise, you can get some differences and stuff, and it's somewhat realistic in the tuning, but with the steering wheel assist on, you can pretty much like shred anything. More power, you can go faster, do more like backwards entries, things like that. I mean, as you guys can see, it looks pretty realistic, right? The thing that's weird though is handbrake. It's like you hit the handbrake if you hold it. If you do a tap, it works pretty realistically, I'd say, but when you hold a handbrake, it seems to really float you far. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. But let's say we like go around this corner and we want to handbrake there and kind of adjust. See how I keep floating further out? That's not realistic to me. And sometimes you handbrake and you want to get up on this wall. So now I've gotten used to how it works. But that was a really frustrating thing for me at the start, is I'd try to handbrake just to readjust my line, and it would way overdo it. So there was one perfect example right there when I smoked that corner of the wall. After you're off handbrake, it still floats like you're on handbrake. I think they do that so it's a little bit helpful for people that like don't know how to drift at all. And so I think that's really cool if you guys want to get like a first experience of drifting. If you are a more experienced online drifter or in real person, this game then isn't going to serve you quite as well for that, just because these mechanics are a little crazy. But once you get used to them, it's really fun. And I'll say this, I went in an online race and there's guys like tanning in there shredding, and it's really fun. And I think there is stuff to learn. Some of the things we've talked about in the other video game series is like, okay, let's say it's somewhat arcadey, right? The gameplay. I would say this is less arcadey than Need for Speed. I would say it's a little bit more arcade-like than Forza. We've talked about this. I feel like those games, it acts like a normal car. Yes, there's some arcade stuff in it, acts further, but generally I think it acts like a real drift car. This one, I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. There's a couple of things that I think they have in the physics so that it's easier for beginners. So I want to show you guys, there's pretty extensive modifying and customizing on this game, which is really cool. You basically pick a package. You pick stock, turbo, racing, drift, or ultimate. Drift is great. It takes a while to unlock ultimate. Ultimate, you get up to like 800, and I found that to be really fun for some of these bigger tracks. So just pick ultimate, and that kind of customizes the whole car for you. But then when you want to tweak it, go in a dyno stand. I didn't find much of a difference on height. So again, slam that bitch. Make it low, make it look sick. I stiffened the front up a little bit on a lot of the cars, or left them kind of how they came. Toe is another one. We talk about this a lot in our How to Drift. Toe and camber. So front, around that 4.5 degrees seems to work on all these cars for me. We actually go by toe out and toe in inches on the real cars, so we'll go like an 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch, whatever it is, but this goes degrees. I don't personally know the conversion, but this seems to work well, around a 1/2 degree toe out. Rear camber, ideally we'd always want 0, but I just found to get the cool fitment, and obviously it's sticking through the fender a little bit because these fenders are shaped weird, I had to run a little bit of camber. Caster, it defaults you at 7 if you go to drift, which is beautiful. And then when you go to ultimate, sometimes it changes. Leave it around 7. Ackermann Angle, that's up to you guys. So Ackermann is basically, like, ideally I want them parallel, and that's like no Ackermann. You can adjust Ackermann angle and basically make it so that inner one's at a different angle, and so then as you go to full lock, you'll actually slow yourself down. Some people like that. I don't in real life, and I don't in video games. It allows you to throw a bunch of angle, and it'll still drive out that way at that angle. Max steering angle, turn her all the way up. Come on. I found that rim diameter and the tire profile didn't make much of a difference. I'd like to play it more and kind of find that out for sure. Tire width does. I went with kind of realistic tire widths. I got 235 front, 265 rear. The other thing you can do, you can mess with rear wheel adhesion. Because I had a degree of camber, I upped rear wheel adhesion. That's pretty much it on car setup. I found, honestly, I tried like a bunch of different setups. After we turned the steering wheel assist back on, they're all driftable. Let's just say that. So I don't feel like you can mess yourself too much up on the setup. I wouldn't worry about it too much. But definitely get the, at least the drift mod, maybe even the ultimate mod. All right, I want to talk about kind of how this game, how you can learn from it still. So we're going to start with tandeming. This is a course I was doing a little bit. I don't have a lot of time on it, but sick bank course. Straight wheel. All right, I straightened my wheels apparently, or so they thought. I disagree. So that is one thing that bugs me. Like, I don't feel like I straightened out. My wheels straightened technically, but that's because I'm trying to steer the car. I had no real choice, but the car is still sliding sideways. That was a little bit of a straighten, I guess. Whatever. All right, we're gonna run it. I think we're getting ourselves set up here. See, like that should have just been like a bit of a crush rub. And that's one of the things like that I just really dislike about this game. If you hit the wall, like it just sucks you right in. Okay, so I got a lead run put down. This is what's really cool about the tandem is here it's scored. It's like you're doing Formula Drift or something. And you basically you set your lead run and then you chase it. So I just set my lead run and now I'm gonna chase it. And I'll show you guys where I think you can learn a lot from this game. So like even here, just learning how to like follow and anticipate what that guy's gonna do. Obviously you know because you drove it.
Oh, wow.
That damn collision, dude. See, like that.
I just barely tapped him.
I barely tapped him. That's one thing that really bugs me. If anybody knows anybody from CarX, tell them to watch this video or hit me up because I feel like let's make the back ends of the cars a little softer and allow a little bit of bumping. Okay, so like I've been trying to get like a good chase run for you guys, and obviously I'm not that great at this game. I'm still learning it, but I just am doing like the tiniest little taps because I'm trying to drive close, and it's like bumping me out. Like basically with tandem, you're trying to copy the lead driver, right? And you're trying to maintain the same line, as close proximity as you can, and as much or even more angle if you can than the lead driver. And you know, if you're throwing more angle at certain turns and you're right on them and you're on the same line, you're gonna win. So something you can learn with this game, it's gonna be frustrating because if you touch him at all, your run's over. But something you can learn is that timing of pulling away, letting him swing over, getting back in the pocket, anticipating when he's gonna initiate and where, and how to line yourself up so you can get in there. I think that's definitely a lot of stuff you can learn from CarX drifting, and I'd say it's great for that. Just know that there are some unrealistic physics. Handbraking is frustrating. Probably the most frustrating thing, as you guys can see, at least for me, is even touching the wall or the lead driver, you're spinning out or crashing, and it's like game over. So knowing those things, like I think this is a really fun game. First of all, I'm pretty addicted to it. As far as it goes for practicing for real life drifting, I'd say it's decent. I'd like to play this game with a wheel, but I know a lot of you guys can't either. And crappy simulators, in my opinion, aren't going to help you. Just getting like a cheap steering wheel. In the past, I've tried them. They don't give you that realism. I'd rather see you use a controller and focus on techniques. If you can afford a good simulator though, then great, you know, do it. But we can't, so we're playing on the controllers so that we can, you know, you guys can relate to this as well. This game with the controller, I think you can learn how drifting works, the mechanics of drifting, and you can have a lot of fun. So, all right, guys, hit that subscribe button, one of these sides. Turn on those notifications as well. We'll see you guys in a couple days. Peace.